Welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast, strategies that help entrepreneurs build reputable and profitable brands. Here's your host, Henry Kaminski Jr.
What's going on, guys? Today's episode is all about narrowing your niche as a consultant with my man, Curtis Hardin. So let me tell you a little bit about Curtis. Curtis came to me not too long ago looking for some help when it came to leveling up his consultancy and taking it to the next level. And man, did he do that in just a few short months. I want to introduce you to my man, Curtis Hardin. What's going on, my man?
How you doing, Henry? How you doing, man? Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Dude, I couldn't wait to have you on the show because you are such an inspiration to so many consultants out there that want to take their consultancy to the next level. And so let's give our audience some context around how you got into this niche, because this is a very narrow niche and interesting to hear and learn about it. And so talk to us about how you picked this niche and how you become so successful in it.
Okay, well, I have a random story. I'm from California, and I moved to Cape Town, South Africa to do modeling, and I was doing that very well. And I had a buddy down the street who was a mechanic, and he was telling me about how he couldn't diagnose some of these vehicles. So me being from the U.S., I said, well, let me look to see what tools we have. And as I was doing research, I found out that most of the people who sell the tool didn't really know much about it, and the tools were just too pricey. So the company that I found had a it was like the iPhone of diagnostic tools, basically, And I helped him out, and his friends, said that they need more tools. And then I contacted the manufacturer, and then later I became a distributor. And then over time, I realized that people were just selling the tools, but they didn't really know how to get the client's results. So I took a lot of courses, and I just dedicated not more into the sales, but into the technical support. So that kind of brought me here today.
Oh my God. So it was essentially your childish curiosity and some help that you wanted to give to your friend that turned this into a 5-figure-a-month business pretty quickly.
Yeah. And it's funny because when I was little, my dad used to work on cars, and I don't like getting dirty, oily and all that other stuff. But what I realized is the cars are just computers now. So that's what I'm pretty good at. So it was easy for me to actually make that transition. That's what I like to help people do.
So let's get into the real meat and potatoes of today's episode, and it's narrowing down your niche.
Got it.
What were some of the fears that were going through your head when you picked this niche specifically to sort of take on as a top consultant in the space?
Well, I think a lot of people have this misconception is if you focus just on one thing, there's so much you're going to be missing. So when I met you made that clear to me, because remember how I asked you, hey, I need a web page, and you're like, Kurt, well, who are you marketing to? And I had a lot of people, and we targeted down who I wanted to do. And I can tell you, Henry, when I narrowed down my target market, the clientele that I've been attracting has been really premium, and it's been working out. I'm not working as hard, and I'm just being able to attract the clients who I want to do business with. So, and I recommend this to my clients. Sometimes my clients say, Kurt, I want to do X, Y, Z, this. I said, no, narrow down your niche, focus on one thing you want to do and just do that really good. So that's what I did. And it's been working out fantastic.
So let me ask you this, because I want this episode to be sort of a dual value, one for other consultants that want to aspire to generate the revenues that you've been generating recently, and for your audience to get to learn more about you. So I'm gonna put you on the spot here, and I'm gonna ask this question: What makes you different from anybody else in the industry that's trying to help mechanics diagnose their patients, aka cars, if you will, right? And help them build more profitable shops and repair shops?
Yeah. I would say my value proposition is there are, I guess, 3 stages when a client buys their tool. First is it's finding the right tool. Then after you get it, then you have to get results with it. And most vendors just do the first step. They just sell the tool, and that's where the relationship stops. So what I do is I ensure that the client gets results with the tool, and I help them use it to its maximum capability. And that's not really in our industry. The people who are selling equipment, usually they have vast variety of different tools, so they're not going to know this one inside out. So you'll find a lot of companies, they have different companies of diagnostic equipment. I just focus just on one. And that kind of dedication, you're able to get insight that no one else would know unless they were physically, working on the tool every day. So yeah, just me being with the client in the trenches and having that one-on-one relationship, I would say that's my value proposition.
I love it. So you see things through to the end.
Correct.
It's not just about selling the product, and making a quick buck.
Exactly. I feel gratified when there's a situation where I help the client learn a skill and solve a problem, and that makes me feel good than just selling a bunch of tools online. I like having that human element to it. Yeah. So
much of what you're saying, so much of what you're saying can transfer over to any niche, any industry.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And I think it's smart. I think it's important for my audience to hear that, because what you're doing is you're going above and beyond. And you hear me talk about this a lot, but in 2019 and beyond, just doing the bare minimum or just doing what you were told to do, in my opinion, isn't enough anymore.
Yeah.
It just isn't.
I agree. Like, especially now with the technology in the cars, like if you are going to be able to adjust to this new trend with technology and you've never been there before, you're going to need help doing it. You can't do things alone, or otherwise you can, but you're going to be wasting a lot of time, and that's kind of why I hired you. Remember how I told you, I could figure it out myself, but like, I know your story and I could relate to it. And, you've went through the trenches and had the shortcomings and stuff, through your 10-year career. I said, well, let me just hire him so I don't have to go through that anymore.
So for all you mechanics out there that are looking to stop wasting time on dumb shit, just freaking hire Curtis and get it over with, because he's going to save you so much time, money, and energy in the long run. You're going to be able to make more money because you're going to be able to fix more cars. And I think that's what the value prop here is. It's cutting the corners, and I shouldn't say cutting the corners. It's compressing the time that it takes. And we talked about this when we were going through the strategy program, right? When they have to source out the car because they can't fix the problem, that is a huge profit buster. But if you're able to keep it in-house and fix it yourself, how much money are you making? How much money are you saving?
Yeah, exactly.
So you've really done a good job. You've done a fantastic job on making that happen for your clients. And that's what makes you super successful. And you know what? I came in and kind of helped you sort of steer and guide a little bit. But, dude, you did most of the work.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Henry, like, that strategy session, I remember I told you, I go to the gym, and when I come to you, my brain goes to the gym because you really pull, and I still use that strategy. Like when I make YouTube content, I look at the pain points that we discuss, and it's just flowing now. Things are just flowing. So,
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What is the biggest pain point that your audience is, your ideal client is faced with right now?
I would say their biggest pain point would be getting the right information that will solve their problem. So think about this. They're doing their jobs every day. When they get into the event where they need to look at diagnostics, sometimes people haven't been researching for like 5 or 8 years. So when they go to it, it's like you're overloaded with so many different options, So I would say just getting the right information to make an educated decision to find out which tool is right for them. That's the first challenge that they have.
Got it. So when you walk them through your consulting, you help them do that.
Yeah, I kind of do what you do. Like when you have a strategy session, to find out the initial call. When someone books you for initial call, I do the same thing because I tell people, look, if you're sick and you go to a doctor and the doctor just throws you medication, that could kill you. You know what I mean? So you're doing the same thing when you are buying your tool online or something like that. You're not getting the right information. They're not consulting you. And a lot of people end up buying something that's beyond their means, they're not going to use all of it, but they're going to be paying for it in cost. Or they're going to buy something that's inexpensive that's not going to solve their problem. So, yeah, I always do a consultation first, and then I'll align them with the right tool.
I love it. So now let's switch gears and let's talk to our consultants that listen to this show quite often and I'm going to ask you this question. How has your life changed since narrowing down your niche and really getting specific with the one client that you want to serve and the one diagnostic tool that you really specialize your expertise around? How has that simplified life for you?
I'm not wasting time on unqualified potential clients. Before I have infrastructure now, since I work with you, and before I didn't have that. So, I'm getting people who are not a good fit for what I'm offering, because some people are just buying their tool based on the lowest price, and I'm not the cheapest, but your cost will be cheaper, So that frees me up a lot of time. I can be doing more important things. So that's one benefit. I have more free time, and then I notice the people who I'm working with now, it's just more of a enjoyable experience. They value my time, they value my expertise, and I like working with them. So it's been a really good transition. Like I have to say that I've seen the difference just within a couple of months.
I love it. I love it. So you folks out there, I want to get into the doc's prescription now and really help you take this episode, because I've been volleying back and forth because I want to help Curtis use this podcast to help him promote himself, but I also want to provide the value to you guys as well, that are coaches and consultants that want to scale to the levels that Curtis is at right now. And so the one big takeaway that I want you to get from this episode is this: don't just sell a product to sell it. You really got to back up your consultancy and your work with results. And you got to create that world-class experience. You have to treat your clients as if they were walking into a Ritz-Carlton or a 5-star hotel. You know, when you give them that kind of service, they're going to come back over and over and over again. And that there is going to leave a big lasting impression, you know, on their hearts, on their minds. And that's where you're going to start to grow like wildfire, because people are going to say, you got to use Curtis. He is the only guy in this industry that gets it, right? And that's going to happen. And so, you know, focusing down and niching down your focus on a specific client. Now, you may not get the perfect client every time. Let's keep it real, right? You're not going to get the dreamboat client every time. But if you market yourself and position and posture yourself, posture. I've been struggling with that word today. If you posture yourself properly, you are going to have higher odds of attracting that ideal client, just like Curtis is doing. Saves time. It keeps your marketing and content marketing way more easier than trying to talk to everybody instead of talking to this one specific person that really needs your help, and you have that solution. And you're not going to have to work so hard, and you're going to be able to get more done. You're going to create a bigger impact on your audience when you focus on a small group of individuals. I'm telling you right now, when I started to do that, I started to attract a certain individual. And like Curtis, my life is a hell of a lot easier now, and a lot more. My work is a lot more rewarding because I'm bringing in the right clients. Of course, Canella, the dog, is going to come behind me and scratch himself in the middle of the podcast. So thank you, Canella, for that. So let's get into the questions from the community. Okay. The question today, and this one goes to you, Curtis. How do I improve my sales technique? Because I know a lot of folks out there, I get this question a lot. Like, I'm really good at what I do. I know my stuff inside and out, but I can't sell myself out of a paper bag. So when somebody says something like that to you, how would you answer it?
My advice would be to listen to the clients and try to get the deepest pain point. Because I noticed when I first started, I would just like sell, you know, like tell them all the technological jumbo mumble stuff. And that didn't really work. When I started to listen to their pain points and really extract and reveal what they truly want, it was actually easier for me to make an offer, you know? So that's why I would say just listen to their pain points and dive deeper into that. And then that's how you can remedy with a solution.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of times most people go wrong when they're talking 80% of the time and not hearing what the pain point truly is from their client. To piggyback on what you're saying, I think what I would finish up this question with, the answer to this question would be to stop selling. Really stop selling. And be more of a facilitator or a consultant or an advisor, right? Those folks will ask the right questions, like, what are your biggest challenges? What's holding you back? Yeah. Why do you think you haven't gotten this far yet? And when you ask those questions, then you start to dig a lot deeper. One of the recent things that I've learned in I always try to keep my sales axe sharp, right? And one of the things that was said to me in a conversation was, when you tell them the answer, they don't value it as much. When they find the answer themselves, you become God to them.
Yeah.
So your goal as a salesperson is to just bring up the things that they know they need to address. And for whatever reason, like, I'll give you a quick example. I was in a Facebook group yesterday, and this woman reaches out, puts on the post, I'm having trouble with my messaging. My ideal client is a large defense contractor, blah 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 blah. Right? So she goes, but I'm having a hard time with my messaging to get my point across to them. Right? So I wrote back and I said, "Hi, so and so. Let me ask you a question. What's your biggest challenge? Your audience has a huge challenge, an obstacle that they're trying to get through. What may that be? And what is the risk involved if they don't handle that situation? And what are some potential solutions that you could bring to the table to help them get through that?" So she writes me back a dissertation. And then she asks me, like she answers the questions, and it's like this laundry. Right? So I wrote back, and she goes, "Does that help?" And my response was, "I don't know. Does it?" Right? Yeah. And then I said, and then she goes, "So it's me that's getting in my way." And I said, I just did the wink emoji. I didn't even respond. I just did the wink emoji. And that was it. And you know what the response was back? Thank you.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's it.
You just dropped the mic.
She knew her audience. She knew the pain points. She knew the struggles. She knew the risks involved. But nobody had ever asked her those pinpointed questions to help her get there, get that clarity.
Yeah.
Right? So that is what I mean. That is the perfect example of what I mean by improving your sales technique, by making them find the answers and challenging them to find the answers. You just facilitating that process. I can promise you sell way more than you trying to force a product or service down someone's throat. Okay. So awesome stuff. We're running out of time. So Curtis, where can people learn more about what you do and how you do it? Let's send them over to wherever you want.
Yeah. You can go to YouTube. My YouTube channel is Autel Consultancy. Autel Consultancy.
And how do you spell that?
It's AUTEL Consultancy. And then you can also go to www.auteltech.co.za. Autel, AUTELTECH.co.za. And then, you can book a consultation or go to my YouTube page. There's a lot of videos that I've done of me helping my clients get results. Yeah,
you're awesome on video, dude. And your videos alone are very engaging and very, very helpful. And for anybody that's interested in learning more about this particular device that Curtis is an expert on, just go to YouTube, and I'll promise you that you will find the results that you're looking for. And if you need to dive deeper, that Curtis is your guy. So there you have it, guys. Another episode in the books. Curtis, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Henry. Appreciate it, man.
You got it. So real quick before we leave, a couple things. One is, if you haven't subscribed to this podcast yet, hit that subscribe button right now. If you know somebody that could get some value out of these episodes, share it, please, with somebody that is looking to scale their expertise, whether they be a coach, consultant, speaker, thought leader, any of those folks, right? Anybody, let's put it this way. Anybody that uses their expertise to make a living is going to get some great value out of this show. So share it out, and I appreciate you and thank you in advance for that. And don't forget to check out the show notes. I have a couple links down there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, in the description, there's a few links down there that are really going to help you. I have a free training. I have some digital products. I have a course that's brand new right out of the gate. That's really helping solopreneurs find the structure and find the framework to grow to the 6- and 7-figure level like I have. And there is a monthly coaching program as well that really keeps my clients getting the results that they're looking for. And like I mentioned before on this episode, keeping them maintaining the support for their success is something that I hold very, very dear to my heart and I take very, very seriously. And so that group coaching there really helps with the accountability of getting you the results that you're looking for long term. So go check that out if you're interested. Have an amazing day, guys. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.
You've been listening to the Brand Doctor Podcast with Henry Kaminski Jr. To get your appointment with the doctor, visit Brand Audit at www.uniquedesigns.net.